My name is Riley Hargrove, 29 years old, divorced, and about 3 months away from living in my truck, if I didn't find something fast. That's how I ended up taking the night auditor job at the Hollow Pines Motel, a little 20-room dump off Highway 231 just south of Manchester, Tennessee. The kind of place truckers and desperate families use when they can't make it to Nashville or Chattanooga before they drop. The sign out front is missing 3 letters and buzzes like a dying wasp all night. The office smells like stale coffee, pine sol, and something faintly metallic I could never place. I showed up for my interview at 10:45 p.m. on a Tuesday in late October. The day manager, a tired-looking woman named Carla who smelled like cigarettes and regret, barely looked up from her crossword. She slid a single key across the counter along with a manila envelope. Shift starts at 11. You work alone till 7. Here's the handbook. Read the rules before you touch anything. I mean it. First time you break one, you're gone. Second time, she let the sentence hang like she didn't want to finish it. Well, just don't. Inside the envelope was a single laminated sheet titled Hollow Pines Night Shift Protocol. Do not copy, do not remove. I almost laughed. It looked like a prank, but Carla wasn't smiling. Memorize it, she said, already grabbing her purse. The pines get loud after midnight, don't make them louder. Then she left, just like that. No training, no tour, no here's how the credit card machine works. Just me, the buzzing fluorescent lights, and the list. Here's what it said. I still have the sheet. I keep it in my wallet like some people keep their kids' ultrasound picture. You'll understand why in a minute. Rules for the night auditor. 1. The front desk must be manned at all times between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. You may not step into the back office, the bathroom, or the parking lot unless a guest is physically standing at the counter watching you do it. If nature calls, hold it. 2. Never accept cash from any guest who arrives after 12:30 a.m. Credit or debit card only. If they insist on cash, tell them we're full. Do not negotiate. 3. Room 13 is permanently out of service. The key does not exist. If the computer tries to assign it, override and give them any other room. If a guest specifically asks for room 13, tell them it's under renovation and offer them a free upgrade to a king suite. Do not let them see the hallway that leads to it. 4. Between 2:15 a.m. and 3:45 a.m., do not look directly at the security monitor that shows the east hallway. Camera 4. Glance at it if you must, but never stare. If you see a woman in a yellow raincoat standing still, immediately turn the monitor off and do not turn it back on until 4 a.m. 5. If the phone rings from an internal room line, rooms 120, let it ring exactly 6 times before answering. If it stops before the 6th ring, do not pick up. If it rings again immediately after, answer with Hollow Pines. How may I direct your call? Do not say hello. Do not say your name. 6. Any child you hear crying outside after 1 a.m. is not a child. Do not open the front door. Do not look out the window. Play the white noise track on the old boombox under the counter at full volume until the crying stops. It will stop. 7. Guests who arrive on foot without a vehicle must show ID and a valid credit card. If they have neither, refuse service even if they offer double the rate. Do not feel bad. They are not lost hikers. 8. At exactly 3:33 a.m., the lobby lights will flicker once. This is normal. Do not comment on it out loud. Do not look at the ceiling. 9. If a guest returns to the desk and says, I think I left something in my room, can I get a new key? Ask them to describe the item first. If they cannot describe it in detail, do not give them a key. Call the police non-emergency line and tell them you have a possible 1099. Hang up after you say it. Do not explain further. 10. Never, under any circumstances, leave the front door unlocked after 2 a.m. even if you think you're alone. The deadbolt is there for a reason. The chain is there for a reason. Use both. 11. If you hear your own name whispered from the direction of the vending machines, answer, I'm not on break, and keep typing. Do not look up. Do not acknowledge it again if it repeats. 12. The black rotary phone in the back office is for outgoing calls only. It has no incoming line. If it rings, unplug it immediately and leave it unplugged until morning. Do not answer it, ever. 13. At the end of your shift, write the number of guests who checked in after midnight on the log sheet. Add exactly 3 to whatever the actual number is. Sign your name. Do not ask why. 14. If you break any rule, do not try to fix it. Finish your shift, go home, and do not come back the next night. The motel will handle it. Trust me on this. I read the list 3 times that first night. Laughed nervously the first time, rolled my eyes the second, and felt a cold little finger trace my spine on the third. I told myself it was some hazing thing the previous auditor came up with before he quit. People get bored on night shift. They get creative. Night one was almost disappointingly normal. A few truckers paid cash before midnight, which was allowed. An older couple in a minivan checked in around 1:20 a.m. complaining about a blown tire. They took room 9 without complaint. No kids crying. No yellow raincoats. The security monitors stayed boring gray static. I drank too much coffee, watched the clock, and left at 7:05 a.m. feeling stupid for how tense I'd been. Night 2 was when things changed. It was a slow drizzle outside, the kind that makes every headlight look like a ghost. At 2:27 a.m., the front door chimed. A man walked in wearing a soaked Carhartt jacket and a ball cap pulled low. No car in the lot behind him. He was alone. Rule 7. My stomach did a little flip. He slid a driver's license across the counter. Tennessee ID. Name Michael R. Tanner. Address in Murfreesboro. Looked legit, but no wallet bulge, no keys, no phone visible. Just the ID and 3 damp $20 bills. Cash only, he said, voice raspy like he'd been screaming. I remembered Rule 2. It was 2:27 after 12:30. I swallowed. Sorry, sir. After midnight, we only take cards. He smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. Come on, man. I just walked 6 miles after my truck died. Cash is all I got. I stuck to the rule. I'm really sorry. Company policy. I can call you a tow if you... He leaned in. Rainwater dripped from his cap onto the counter. You don't want to turn me away, Riley. I hadn't told him my name. My hand hovered over the phone. I could see my reflection in the dark monitor behind him. Eyes wide, mouth open like an idiot. He noticed me noticing. Relax, he said, and suddenly his voice was different. Smoother. I'll use a card. Forgot I had one. He produced a Visa with a completely different name on it, Thomas something. The photo didn't match the man in front of me at all, but the machine approved it. I gave him room 8 and watched him walk down the east hallway. He never looked back. I waited until 3 a.m. to check the monitor for camera 4. The hallway was empty. Good. At 3:33, the lights flickered exactly once. I kept my eyes on the keyboard like the rule said. Didn't comment. Didn't breathe too loud. At 4:12, the internal phone rang. Room 8. It rang 6 times exactly, then stopped. I picked up on the 7th ring like the rule told me. Hollow Pines, how may I direct your call? A child's voice. Little girl whispered, Daddy says you're not supposed to be here. I hung up so fast the receiver bounced. The crying started 10 minutes later. Soft at first, right outside the front door, a little girl sobbing like she was lost and freezing. I almost stood up. My hand was on the deadbolt before Rule 6 slammed into my brain. I dove for the boombox under the counter, hit play on the white noise track, Ocean Waves, loud, and cranked it until the glass in the front door vibrated. The crying didn't stop immediately. It got louder, angrier, like it was right against the glass. Then it just cut off, like someone put a hand over the kid's mouth. I sat there shaking until sunrise. I almost didn't come back the next night. But rent was due, my truck needed brakes, and I told myself it was just some weird prank or maybe a local meth head screwing with me. I needed the money, so I went back. Night 3 is when I learned the rules weren't joking. It was clear and cold. Stars like bullet holes in black velvet. At 1:45 a.m., the door chimed and a woman walked in alone. Mid-40s, yellow raincoat glistening with dew even though it hadn't rained in hours. She smiled at me like we were old friends. Evening, Riley. Room 13, please. My blood turned to ice water. Rule 3 and Rule 4 both screaming in my head at once. I'm sorry, ma'am. Room 13 is under renovation. I can put you in a king suite. No extra charge. She tilted her head. The hood of the raincoat cast her face in shadow, but I could see her eyes. Too wide, too black, like holes punched in dough. But I always stay in 13. My husband's waiting. I kept my voice steady. Renovation, ma'am. Policy. She stared at me for a long time. Then she reached into her coat and pulled out a single brass key. Old-fashioned, heavy, with a plastic tag that clearly said 13 in faded Sharpie. I already have the key. Just need to check in. I felt my pulse in my teeth. I glanced sideways at the monitor for camera 4. She was standing right there on the screen, too, yellow coat bright against the green hallway. but in real life she was still at my counter. Two of her. The one on the screen didn't move. The one in front of me smiled wider. I turned the monitor off without thinking. My hand was shaking so bad I almost dropped the remote. She sighed, disappointed. "You're new. You'll learn." Then she turned and walked back out into the night. No car. No footsteps on gravel. Just gone. I sat there until 4 a.m. with the monitor off, heart hammering. When I finally turned it back on, the hallway was empty. But on the floor outside room 13, door closed, light off, there was a single puddle of water shaped exactly like a woman's footprint. It hadn't been there before. I added 3 extra guests to the log sheet at 7 a.m. like Rule 13 said. I didn't ask why. By night 5, I was a believer. The crying came back every night now, always right at 1 o'clock. The white noise track drowned it out, but sometimes I could hear scratching at the glass like tiny fingernails. Once I swore I saw a small handprint appear in the condensation on the inside of the door, even though the office was warm. A man in room 5 called down at 2:50 a.m. asking for extra towels. I brought them to his door, set them on the ground, knocked twice, and walked away without waiting. Rule 1. Never leave the desk unwatched. I made it back with 10 seconds to spare before the clock hit 2:55. When I checked the log later, room 5 had checked in as a single male. But when I glanced at the security feed, 2 silhouettes were visible through the curtain. One tall, one small and hunched. They never moved. The black rotary phone in the back office rang on night 6. I was refilling the coffee pot, half asleep, and I heard it. Old-fashioned metallic jangle that made my skin crawl. I sprinted to the back, yanked the cord out of the wall so hard the plug snapped. The ringing stopped mid-tone, like the phone itself was surprised. When I plugged it back in the next morning, it was dead. Good. But the worst night, the night I almost broke, was night 8. It was raining hard. Thunder rolled over the pines like something angry. At 2:18 a.m., the door chimed and Michael R. Tanner walked in again. The same guy from night 2, no car, same damp Carhartt. This time he had a little girl with him, maybe 8 years old, soaking wet, barefoot. She was the one who'd been crying outside every night. I recognized the sound instantly. He smiled that same dead-eyed smile. "We like room 13 tonight, family reunion." The girl looked up at me. Her eyes were wrong, milky, like cataracts, but she tracked me perfectly. "Please, mister," she whispered. "Daddy's been waiting so long." Rule 3 screamed in my head. I gripped the counter until my knuckles popped. "I'm sorry. Room 13 is closed." The man's smile never wavered. "Come on, Riley, you've been doing so well." "Just one little exception. We'll be quiet, promise." The girl started crying again, but this time it was inside the lobby. The sound came from right behind me, even though I was facing them. I spun around. Nothing. When I turned back, they were both standing 3 feet closer. I hadn't seen them move. The clock read 2:22. My hand hovered over the non-emergency police line. I remembered Rule 9, but this wasn't a guest asking for a key. This was something else. The girl reached out and touched the counter. Her fingers left wet prints that smoked slightly like dry ice. "The Pines are loud tonight," she said in a voice that wasn't hers. It was Carla's, the day manager's. "Don't make them louder." I almost broke. Almost said screw it and gave them the damn key. But Rule 14 flashed in my brain. If you break any rule, do not try to fix it. Just finish your shift and never come back. I picked up the boombox instead, hit the white noise track, and turned it so loud the speakers crackled. Then I stared at the keyboard and started typing nonsense into the computer. Anything to keep my eyes down. They stood there for what felt like an hour. The girls crying mixed with the ocean waves until I couldn't tell which was which. Finally the man sighed. "Fine. We'll come back when the new guy starts." They left. The door chimed once. When I looked up, the lobby was empty, and the puddle by the counter was already evaporating. I finished my shift, wrote +3 on the log, signed my name, drove home shaking so bad I had to pull over twice. I called Carla the next morning and quit. She didn't sound surprised. "Smart kid," she said. "Previous guy lasted 11 nights. You made it to 8. Not bad." I asked her what the hell the motel really was. She laughed, a tired, hollow sound. "It's a rest stop, Riley, for things that used to be people. The rules keep the door closed, mostly. Some nights they test it, some nights they win. We just make sure it's not us they take." I haven't been back. I got a day job at a warehouse in Murfreesboro. Pays less, but the sun is out and nobody whispers my name from the vending machines. It's Sometimes, though, when I'm driving home late and the pines line the road just right, I hear the crying again. Soft, far away. And I wonder if the new night auditor is following the rules. If you ever see a little motel off 231 with a half-lit sign and a buzzing wasp logo, keep driving. And whatever you do, don't take the night shift. This has been Riley's story, except it isn't just a story anymore. It's mine now. And if you're listening to this at night, alone, maybe it's yours too. Stay safe out there. If this one left you checking your windows, smash that like button, subscribe for more deadly pieces, and drop in the comments what rule you think you'd break first. I read every single one. Until next time, keep the lights on.